Hi, I'm Sandi Genovese, and today we're going to be making a birthday card that's theme. It's kind of called a never-ending card, and it was suggested by one of you on the comment section on my website. So here is how the never-ending card works. If you look here, you can see in one position it has been decorated with balloons. You turn, and it's got a party, one of those party favors or the party blowers. You turn again, cupcakes. Each time you turn, this is going to be the surface where I'm actually going to put my message. And you turn again and you're back to the beginning. So it's really fun because it just goes on and on forever, which is really cool. So in order to start, instead of me giving you dimensions, because the precision that's necessary for this card to fold and all these layers to work together, I'm just going to give you a pattern. Now, it's not something that's part of the Gold Club. The pattern is up for the 3 weeks that the project is up for free. The pattern is also free. Here is how the pattern looks. You'll just print it out, and you'll notice that once again, and all the patterns are the same, a solid black line is a cut line, and a dotted line is a fold line. The only other place, because where you place adhesive, there's only 4 little spots of adhesive, and I've marked them with red and then these like pencil hash marks. So you're going to be putting adhesive in these 4 positions. What I think is the easiest thing for you to do is to take the pattern, go ahead and put the color of paper in your printer that you want your card to be, and go ahead and just have your pattern print out right on the paper. So and then it will have your dotted lines and your solid lines, and you go back and make your marks. If I bring the pattern up, you can see, since I know where the adhesive goes, it's not a problem, but the adhesive is going to go, if you look at this, it's going to go in this section. So where this perforation or this fold line, the dotted lines that indicate folds, I'm going to put my adhesive in this spot. So I'll turn it so that I can get a little bit better. And it's just about maybe 3/4 of an inch worth of adhesive. I'm going to do the same thing in all 4 corners. So I'll come over here and I'll do adhesive once again in the same position. And then I'm going to turn the card so that I can repeat that on this end of the card. So tucked right against the corner where those 2 fold lines come together, I'm going to place about a 3/4 inch band of adhesive. Then you're going to go back and remember I've got dotted lines as where you're going to have your score lines. And so you're going to fold along this score line and then along this cut line and this score line. So I'm going to fold and press, and that way my adhesive is fastening. I'm going to do the same thing on this end. I'm going to fold on the score lines and the cut and the score, press so the adhesive is nice and solid, and it gives you this position. Now at this point you could fold this way or you could fold this way. Either way works. It's just if you want to follow in the order that I did. I then fold along these folds, so I'm going to turn this like so. Let me do this so you can see it. I'm going to fold along this score line here. So I'm going to fold, bringing the bottom out. And I'm going to do the same thing on this side. I'm going to fold this and bring this bottom out, which gives you this position. And to flip it over, you can see this either way. And now I'm going to turn and fold on these score lines, which brings the piece out that's underneath. Maybe it'll show better on this. I'm going to fold on this line. I have to pull this piece out in order to do that. So you end up with a card that will be, as you can see, never ending. So at this point, you want to look at which section is going to be where your card starts, because it's never ending. Really, any of these surfaces could be the beginning and the middle and the end, because it's like a circle. Never ending is never ending. So I'm going to just really push and get my fold lines nice and solid. I decided that this would be the surface that I would call sort of the beginning. So if you look at my card, you can see that I've decorated it like this. Well, you have to have all of these places where your card can open. So what you do is cut the decorative paper that you're going to use. I use this sort of damask black and white pattern, and I'm placing it in between where it's going to have to fold. So I'm going to put adhesive on remember, you're going to do more adhesive than this, but I'm going to put adhesive basically on the whole thing. However, I'm only going to fasten it to this, either the bottom or the top half at one time. So I'm going to line this up with the end of the card staying inside the 2 fold lines on both ends, and I'm only sticking to here, and then I'm going to go ahead and come back, trim off the excess. So I'll just cut it off. And then if I turn this back, you can see how now I'm going to take the other portion, make sure that you have the half that lines up. It looks to me like it's this way that's going to line up. So line it up with your design, and it will fit in between the fold lines and the end lines, and you end up with the pattern that repeats. Any other decorative elements, if you're going to do, in this case, this is a whole cluster of balloons. Here you can see I just did 3 balloons, but it's the same thing. I put adhesive on the design, place it on the top half, and then trim it off, take the bottom section and attach it to the bottom just where they line up together to create one image when the card is in the closed position. To take you through how to do it again, let's do one more surface. So in this surface, I have a piece of black and white pattern paper that's going to, once again, fit inside. Here's a fold, and I don't know how well you can see, here's a fold. So this is set to go on from end to end and inside these fold lines. So I'm going to put adhesive. Remember, you're going to do more adhesive than I'm doing, but I'm going to place my black and white paper between my folded lines. Let's see if you can see, there's my folds. So I'm going to place this in between the folds and line it up with one end. And when I get to this end, I'm only going to go fasten it to this section, and then I'm going to turn it over, trim off the other half, close it back up, and take this part, line it back up with the rest of my design and the other end of the paper to give me the second position. Now, if you want to add, I mentioned, if you want to add the other elements that are going to get decorated, in this case I have like a party blower that's going to go in there. You could do the same thing as you did with the black and white paper. I'm going to go ahead and put adhesive on the whole design, but I'm only going to fasten one half first so that I can make sure that I get it lined up nicely. So I'm going to go ahead, position it in the first section, and then I'm going to trim it off and pick it up. Try to do it with my tweezers maybe so my hands aren't so much in the way. And line it up so you can see how it's going to fit with the second one. And you can see I wasn't careful. See how I've gone off the edge here? When I fold that, that's going to be a little funky. So I'm going to bring this down. And since I use removable adhesive, I can also bring this down into a better position. I don't know what I would do without that removable adhesive. I use it for everything. As you know, once it sets up, it becomes nicely permanent. So that's how you're going to decorate each of the faces. If I go back to this, you can see here is what was where I started. Here's the page we just did. And then if I flip to the next section, if I flip this over, you can see how all I need to do then is to bring in the next layer of paper, do the same thing, fasten it to one half, cut the other half off and attach it to the bottom section, add any details, flip to the final position, which in this case looks like this. So you then add the final paper decoration. Really, it's incredibly easy to do once you get going. It's just a question of folding it into its never-ending pattern and then decorating each surface at a time. It is so much fun, and the people that you send it to are really going to love it. You know, birthdays, they only come once a year, but a never-ending card that is birthday themed, it goes on and on forever.